Hi, it's Bill Bishop, and this is a recording of today's meeting of the Big Idea Future Network. And we did an AI show and tell. So we had about 20 entrepreneurs show up, and we all shared with each other one, what our goals are for using AI. Like we each came up with an idea for how we could use AI to either automate our business, innovate new ideas, or create a better life for ourselves using this incredible technology. And then what we did was we shared with each other different ways we're using it, and there was about 20 different examples that people gave, and all kinds of technology was demonstrated that I think you're going to find incredibly useful to know about. So I do encourage you to take the time to watch this video if you weren't able to make it to the meeting, and you're going to learn just all the stuff that we learned during that session. So thanks for tuning in. And the next meeting of the Big Idea Future Network is on Monday, November 24th at 11 a.m. So if you like what you're seeing on this video, I encourage you to come to the next meeting. Okay. And the way you can do that is below this video, you'll see a link to sign up for the Big Idea Future Network if you're not already a member. All right. Thanks a lot. So enjoy the video today, and I call this an AI show and tell. So I'm going to show a bunch of things that I've been using AI for in my business. And if anyone has anything they want to share that they're using, this is how we all learn. Okay, so we think it's actually a pretty good thing because every meeting that we've had in this format, I've learned something here that was very useful to me. And I'm already using AI for a whole lot of things, but it seems like every time we have the meeting, I pick up something from that. So so that's why I think it's a good idea. And I obviously the people that are here are interested in learning. So that's why this is a great group of people. So so what I want to start off with, because it's just you haven't seen this index here. And I will send you a little clip. Let me just actually make it bigger here for a second. There we go. Oh, somebody else is coming in here. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because I got people coming in at the same time. Okay, so this is what I call the Big Idea AI Index, and it's good to just give yourself a little bit of an assessment. And if you can't make out the words, just think about where you are from 1 to 10 when it comes to AI right now. So if you're 1, you're just right at the beginning, and you don't know very much about it. Maybe you've used it a little bit, but not too much. And if you're a 10, then you'd be probably the smartest AI person in the world. I haven't met that 10 yet, but if you were a 10, you could call yourself a 10. But just decide where you're kind of at on that scale. And you don't have to tell anybody, but typically people right now, most people I meet are between 3 and 4, and that's understandable, which means that you're using it a little bit, but you haven't really fully, figured out how to make it part of your whole business, right? So if you get to a 5 and above, you're really making your whole business kind of an AI powered business. So I would put myself maybe at a 7 right now, probably, because I use it every day and it's completely transformed my business. So what we're trying to do here is help you get higher up on that scale. So we really all want to get to like 8 or 9, actually, ultimately. And that's where I think anyone that's going to be successful in the future, probably not far away from now, is going to have that ability. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind, because they always say that, which I think is a good point, that you're not AI isn't going to take away your job, but somebody that knows how to use AI really well will take away your job. But that also applies to business too. So if it, your business won't get disrupted by AI, but it will get disrupted by a competitor that knows how to use AI better than you. There's I don't know if any of you have seen the video yet of our AI, the future of business, AI in the future of your business. But in there, I talk about how if you really get to like a 7 or 8, even just as a solo entrepreneur, like one person, solo entrepreneur has like a company of 10 people. It's a similar amount of capacity, right? So if you have 10 people in the same way, it's like you have a company of 100. So if you're competing against someone that's about your size of company, but they've got their act together with AI, it's like they got 100 people and you got 10, right? Even though they only have 10 humans as well. So they might even only have 5 people and you can't compete with them because like they're a company of 50. So so this is why we all got to get our act together around that. Any questions about the index? Anybody have any questions or comments about that? Anyone want to tell us what they think their score is, maybe? How about Chris Ward? What do you think your
Yeah,
score?
I guess my score would be a 4. I guess I use it regularly in to process a lot of research, particularly key and informed interviews. You can dump all the interviews material in and get a great response back in 2.5 minutes, or more,
Uh-huh.
2.5 seconds actually.
Right.
It's incredible for that.
Well, maybe at a certain point today, you can show us a little bit about that, maybe, if you're willing.
Sure, happy
Okay.
to.
Anyone else that want to tell us what their score might be at this point?
I think this is Tom here. I think I'm a 4, but we'll see. We're starting to incorporate it into products, so that's probably getting into the next level. But
Yeah,
and
that's
we've
good.
created a GPT for some stuff. But
Great.
it's definitely there's a lot of tools. So half your time is spent just exploring new tools that come online.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe today I can maybe help you maybe get a little clear about kind of streamline that a little bit because it's good at first to play around with it, but at a certain point you go, okay, now I know enough. Now I got to make it more specific to what I do, right? So, like in my case, I've really plotted out the whole process of our business, like all the different from marketing all the way through. And I said, okay, where in those spots could we do something with AI to make it better? So that's been helpful because otherwise I'm just kind of fooling around, right? So that might be something I can just talk a little bit more here. Actually, let me go here now. Okay, so I thought a lot about how to make the best use of AI, and I think the problem that I see mostly is that people are using it almost specifically to just automate what they already do, which is kind of normal to do first. Um, but that was kind of like Blockbuster getting a better point of sale system. Or I worked with Kodak in the '90s, and they were working on their um, technology for making their supply chain for making film more efficient. So you see where I'm going with this is that they kind of missed the bigger picture about what to do with this. That it was going to change everything, not just make their existing industry or business more efficient, right? So there's this model here that I found very useful for myself. So at the heart of it is to have some kind of big idea, and that could be a big idea or a really big idea. So my super big idea that I'm working on, I call it my $1 billion baby, and so it's just kind of a fun project. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's this idea of creating a $1 billion business using AI and running it using AI agents and having no people except me. Eventually, not even me, just to see if I could create that kind of business. And what I did was I went on AI and I said, ChatGPT, and I said, well, I want to create this business. Can you help me? And said, yeah, let's do it. And so it started giving me suggestions on how this business might run. And I actually built one automated um, agent right now that's doing the very first kind of iteration of that business. I haven't quite got to the $1 billion point yet, but definitely that's a big idea, right? And then or it could be saying I want something like I just want to make my business 10 times better. Like I just want to make that business 10 times better, make 10 times more money, maybe work less or something, like some big idea. And that's why all these years, through all this technology that's all gone on last 40 years, I've always helped everyone's first by not saying, okay, well, I know that technology is great, but what's the big idea? What are you trying to accomplish here? Like, what's the thing? What's the value you're trying to bring into the world? What's something new, better, and different that you're trying to do? So once you have that, then all of this other stuff makes a lot more sense. So the next step is to automate. So you look at anything that you could automate, which means to just make it so you don't have to spend as much time on it, perhaps, right? So I've done things with AI that used to take me an hour, now take me 5 minutes. An example being creating the content for a YouTube video. So I did YouTube videos fine, but then I have to write up the whole description of the video and all that stuff. So now I have a workflow using AI that will just create all that content to stick in the description of the video and the title and all that and all the hashtags and everything. And it does it a way better job than I would have done anyway. So that was automating that particular thing. So I just right there saving 55 minutes on something I do once a week. So that's a pretty good thing. So you think, okay, how can I automate whatever I can? And I would say that's the low hanging fruit. And then the next thing is say, well, how can I innovate? How could I provide more value to the world and maybe make new kinds of money? So one of the things that I've created with this is I'm able to make videos now with my clients. So before that would have been too expensive for them, would have taken too long. But now when we create their content, which we do anyway, I say, okay, now we can make a video, right? And we can make that video. And I do one for free if they can have that just because it only takes 20 minutes to do. And then I say, if you'd like a more enhanced version, then you have to pay us for that. So that becomes a new source of revenue for us. So that's an innovation, right? And it's pretty fun to do too. And then the humanate part is where we really want to land with this. So what I've really decided to do is to say, one, I want to make all my clients' lives better. So I want them to have more well-being in some way. Like that's the ultimate thing. And then for myself, and say, how does this help me have more well-being? And most people aren't talking about that. What's going to happen with AI? It's going to drive most people crazy. They're going to go out of their minds, frankly. And so we have to figure out how do we use this so that doesn't happen, and that we actually increase well-being instead. So I say in my book, Dancing with Robots. Here, I'll just bring it up. There we go. This is a book that I really recommend you read because it's my book, but I think it's the best book right now for most people to read about this, frankly, because I have these 29 strategies, and I said, listen, if you follow these strategies, what you're going to end up with, the very last strategy is well-being. But if you don't follow these 29 strategies, it could go off the rails a bit, and it could drive everybody crazy. So there's so much talk about how AI is going to destroy the world, and I watch those, and I don't disagree, except I disagree that it's the only path that we could take. So there's a different path that we could take, and if we take that one, then it's going to be okay. And all we can do really is focus on ourselves right now. So I'm not worried about, I can't do anything about the bigger world here, but I'm going to follow these strategies because I want to get well-being for myself and everyone else. And that's what's a really cool thing about this, because I've saved 20 hours a week now using AI. I've created all kinds of new things that I can sell and make money for at a premium, which is great, right? And then because I'm just saying this is about well-being, then I go, I have more time off and I can do my work with less stress and so on. So it becomes a good kind of guiding principle, I think, the humanate part. So in our discussions today, maybe we can keep that in mind, okay? And maybe there's some suggestions here to make that model better, but I figure it's always good to have something that we're working from as opposed to just kind of playing around with this kind of stuff, because that can be dangerous, Here's the chainsaw. Just go out and play with that. Don't worry about it. No manual. Just go ahead and play with the chainsaw. Get up on the ladder with it. So, watch out. Okay. So what I'd like to get you to think about right now, and then we'll talk about this first, and we're going to maybe do a breakout as well, is I want you to think about, write down one thing that you'd like to automate, something that you'd say, this is something I do all the time. And if I could use AI to automate that, that would save me time and it would be a load off my plate. So think about something to automate. The second thing is think about something new you'd like to create with this that could help you make money in a new way. So that would be the innovation. Because I think of innovation mostly about not innovating our operations, but innovating, creating new value for the world. So something new, kind of new product or service or something that you might create there. And then the third thing is what would be a goal of yours to make your life better using this? So I figure when we have our own business, our life and our business are all kind of interrelated. Because we're our own boss, but then we're also, it's great to be your own boss, but that means you often work say a 70-hour week, right? So how can you make your life better? Or at least what would you like to do to make your life better with AI? We'll think about that for just a second. And then what I'd like to get somebody, I'm going to call on David Marinac because he's got to be a 6 on the index, man. He's skyrocketing with this stuff.
Oh my God. Why are you calling on me? Damn it.
I'm waking you up.
No, you're not. I'm all in. I'm all in. Bring it on.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Okay. So what would you like to automate?
Yeah, you know what? It's the daily minutia, like training and getting better and better at training an AI agent, whether that's Lindy or somebody else, to do some of the, one of the things that I've seen you do, you got several different steps. Go and scrape this database, then go to that database, then drop that into a spreadsheet. I want to, all this stuff has to do with capturing the data, and I'm not there yet. And I know that is a key piece of all this is whatever we do to create a space or a way that just sweeps it into a data file, because that's really the gold and at the end of the rainbow, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the idea of data is such an important part of what everyone's going to do with their business when it comes to AI. So because the AI, let's say you have a private AI, which is in your company, right? And you go, but look at all this data that we have, right? And you go, first you go, do we have data? And you go, oh yeah, look at all the database, all the information in there about our customers and, different things about transactions and products. And maybe you have something where people come on and give you a lot of information and stuff. Well, this data is just kind of sitting there. I always say that's kind of like the oil under the ground in Texas or in Alberta 200 years ago. People just thought it was this black stuff that was completely a hassle. Like, it's like, what do I do with this black stuff under the ground, right? But the data, they say, is the new oil, right? So you start looking at that data and go, look at all the things we could use that for. Like, I have a client who does these bi-weekly meetings like this with his clients, and he's done the last 20 or so. He's recorded them. And I said, well, there's a transcript of everything you've said in those meetings. So we're putting them into a knowledge base. And what we're doing with that knowledge base, we're creating an interactive avatar that people can then go and talk to him and ask him questions about the stuff that he's said over the last, half a year. And he was just kind of blown away with that. I said, yeah, you didn't even realize that every time you do that meeting, you're creating all this data that then can be used for training an avatar, right? So you start looking at it. Okay, one, where's the existing data I have that I could mine? And two, is there new ways to create data that uh, would be good? Somebody's running their vacuum cleaner right now, maybe. You're not, I don't know who it is. If you're not talking, maybe mute.
John, I think it's you.
You got the robot doing the vacuuming? Have you seen the robot that does housework? I don't know. But supposedly it doesn't really do it. But anyway, so start thinking about the data you have. The other thing is, it used to be that
It was the AI vacuum coming for us.
I know, right? It's coming. It's the Rombo, and what is it? The Rumba or Rumbo?
Hey, Bill, can I just follow up on a comment that Dave made about dealing with that data? Because I've been struggling with the same thing you have been, David. Has been trying a lot of things, and one of the things I noticed is unless I make the data really filtered and clean, it's just going to come back with whatever it wants to come back with. And like I've noticed, sometimes I'll have cells that are missing or it's different, and unless I actually ask it to clean the data first, am I getting results? And so I just wanted to point that out. I had a lot of struggle with it, but I'm realizing that what's that phrase, garbage in, garbage out. But it's
well, that's true up to a point, and that was the point I was going to make. Okay, so yes, it's good to use AI to clean up data, but in many cases, you don't have to do that. Okay, like for one, it used to be that you'd have to put all the data into a single format, like a particular kind of spreadsheet file or something before you could even get anything to look at it, right? Or to access it. But now you see AI can go in and find the good stuff amongst all the crap, and so you don't have to clean it up actually as much as you think you should, because it can. That's the point. It goes in and finds the good stuff out of there, right? So, but hey, it just depends on how you're using it, because I do understand that maybe some cases you do need to clean it up. But the other thing is that all that data is sitting there. It's like a big giant warehouse of stuff that isn't even labeled or anything, but the AI can go in and go through every box and look at every file and find out what's in there and pull stuff out for you. It gets really, that's a huge game changer there, right there. Because there was companies that made millions just cleaning up data before people would move into a higher level, like CRM system or something. Like it took 3 years just to clean up the data before they could migrate to the new system. Now that's not as necessary, I don't think. Because AI can clean up the data, but also it doesn't need to have it cleaned up. So maybe it doesn't need to be as clean as you think. I don't know. Depends.
Well, I just found that I needed to filter it a little bit more, and it's been
okay. Well, then in that case, then you need to then. It all depends on what it is, right?
Yeah, and I'm looking more at getting precise number. Precision is important in what I was doing with the data. So maybe that's why.
Well, like I can show you in a minute, like Notebook LM, for example. Like that's basically what you're doing with Notebook LM is you're building knowledge bases about particular subjects, right? And you create a folder and you put particular subjects in there, and then it can analyze that data and condense it and do all kinds of things with it. So I can show you that in a minute. It's kind of amazing what you can do now. But the key to that is that it's walled off from any other data. It's just looking at the data that you put in there. It's not going off and finding other data on the internet or anything. Just taking what you have in there. So that is an interesting development as well. So who else has something that? Let's start with automate. Who's got something else they'd like to automate?
I find you're right about the minutia. Hi, everybody, it's Leslie. I do IT and I'm into AI and stuff. But you're right about the minutia. I find that I just need to have a tab open of the various tools, right?
Yeah.
And then it's hard to sit and think of, oh, what am I going to use AI for, right? Which is we've just been asked to do, and it's hard to think about that. So, for example, I had a client email me saying our insurance renewal is up for renewal. Here's the policy from this year. Last year, you helped us analyze it. Just can you have a look and see if the policy's okay for us this year? Right? It's one of the things we provide for, like we do IT, and then we look at I'm not an insurance person. We don't sell insurance, but we review whether they have a good enough cybersecurity policy, right? So I can stick it into AI. I can stick last year's document, which I have from last year's email, and this year's renewal into the AI, ask it to compare and see if there's any differences, right? And on the part of accuracy, you're absolutely right. You kind of need to treat it like, I don't know, maybe a 12 or 14-year-old intern. And some of them are maybe university level interns. They're still interns though. They're not, experts that are smarter than us yet. The rate of development, of course, is massive, and they will be. But at the moment, if you gave it to your very smart 12-year-old to do, you probably would review it and you would question it, or you would, that kind of. So often, what I'll do is actually use multiple tools, right? So I'll ask the same question, like that insurance thing. Like ask ChatGPT that question, and then ask another one. I experiment with Manus. Now, be really careful with Manus. I'm not here to recommend it. It's got potentially ties to the Chinese government, so do with that what you may. So, and the privacy and part of it is there. So like be careful what you do, but any public information is public information, right? That insurance one I wouldn't, but there was another one where I had a list of, it was like a 16-page Excel document. I had to pick out which ones were different again, it was a very similar thing. It wasn't renewing insurance, but it was like a list of service providers, that tools, whatever. Anyways, what is the difference between these two sheets, kind of thing? And I actually got different answers from the two AIs. Right? And then I had more information and I could review, and then I could ask it follow-up questions, right? So I would say that is like, yeah, definitely on the accuracy, but expect to have multiple iterations. Expect to ask it again and again and again, right? By the fifth time you're asking, which, I have a 13 and 15-year-old. It's kind of similar, right? Is it, by the fifth time I'm asking, I kind of, then I get probably something close to what I was looking for, sort of thing, right? So idea of refining by multiple prompts.
But what you're saying though is that by using the AI to automate that comparison of the policies, that still saves you time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's, like it's like the expectation shouldn't be it's 100% perfect out of the gate. The expectation should be it's helping me and I'm better off for it.
Right.
And I have to manage it a little bit like I would any intern. Like if you hired a new employee, you would still need to teach them and manage them, and then over time they would learn and get better, and that's kind of where we're at with the thing.
Right. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me maybe Betty
Sorry.
Rodriguez. Hi there. I don't know you, I don't think, but thanks for coming.
Thank you. Well, you've sent me several emails, and this is my first time in one of your Zooms, and I didn't know what to expect. I just decided to join and explore. My name is Betty Rodriguez Hakes. I am the owner of my own content creation with Gourmet Betty. I teach meal planning using AI, and I've been teaching meal planning for the last 17 years. But now I've been on the forefront of technology for the last 30 years. So I've done a lot of data transformation. So when you talked about data, I know a lot about, the ETL process and cleaning up data before AI. And so right now I'm doing both marketing technology consultancy and growing Gourmet Betty as a cooking instructor and helping people bring families around the dinner table with meal planning. And so I've been using, and I teach how to use AI for meal planning. So one of your questions was where were you on that spectrum? And I believe I'm around a 6.
And you're creating something new here.
What was that?
Well, you're innovating with it, right?
Yeah, I am. And so, but one of the things that your question around what I would love to use AI better for, and it's not one of my fortes, is video editing. I can take a lot of video. I do video on the snap, no problem. But it's taking that video and splitting it where it needs to be split, showing all of the captions to go with it, and then all of the other things that you need to do with video, the different formats for the YouTube and the TikTok and the Instagram and Substack and all of these other things. And so that's really, and I have explored a lot of different tools from Descript to the Canva to the CapCut. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And which one did you find was the best for that so far?
Unfortunately, it's CapCut.
CapCut? Okay.
I've been playing now with Canva, especially with the new 2.0 video. I found it to be a little clunky.
Yeah.
Descript was really good, but it was also a little bit more expensive. And as an entrepreneur, I'm trying to reduce all the different costs between Chat and Claude and everyone else that wants $20 a month.
So you're recommending CapCut, but you said reluctantly?
I'm not sure if I'm recommending it. I'm still looking for a great solution that is low cost and intuitive and easy to use, that I can, run agents against it and say, hey, go do this.
I've been trying to find the same thing, and at this point it's faster for us to do it ourselves than to have the AI do it. But I think that's definitely something coming that's going to be inexpensive and useful. So we'll see about that. But and where are you located?
I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, thanks for coming today. So anyone else have something that they want to automate, at least start, or have something you want to innovate? It would be somebody wants to share that.
Yeah, I can share.
Who we got? Why don't we go with Jody? I haven't talked to Jody in a while.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good.
How's Malcolm doing?
Oh, Malcolm's doing fine. Thank you.
Good.
And our daughter just got married, so we're very happy.
You're blessed.
We're blessed. We're blessed. Yeah. So this is what I want to do. One of my I run a trading education company. You set me up with the FX Trader's Edge way back when.
Right.
Now I'm ready to have some more coaching from you with AI. I know I am. But what I'd like to do, one of my colleagues is retiring at the end of the year, and he's been running my trading rooms. So both in London and both in New York. And we have a methodology, and he is a master reader of the markets. And I have about 100 videos that he has produced. So I want to run all those videos through and create whatever, a knowledge base, or do something with it. And I don't know how to do that or what I should be doing. I want to clone him.
That's a good goal. I actually think that's what we all got to do this, right? We got to take what's in our brain and download it somehow. Like you get just literally download it. But, like I have one client, all I'm doing is I'm interviewing him an hour a week. And he's just telling me everything that he knows. And I'm just like, as a journalist originally, I just interview him like a journalist, and I just get all that information. And then I say, okay, now we've got all this data, and we're going to create the avatar that's going to be interactive, right? And so we're all going to want to do that, because that'll be our 24/7 replica of ourselves. And that could be very useful, right? The other thing I can see from a marketing standpoint is you can say, listen, you can talk to me, the human, it'll cost this much. It's kind of like the gourmet meal. Or you can talk to the hot dog bill, and it costs a lot less, but it's almost as good. So what do you want to do? So I think like teaching and courses and that kind of thing, it's all going to become that kind of interactive kind of deal. I don't know if we're just going to be sitting there watching a series of videos or something. I think you're going to be being trained by an interactive professor or something. I think that's where it's going. So in your business, I think that would be huge.
I do too.
Going to be big. So and actually, all of that's kind of doable right now. Actually, so that technology is there. Just got to put the pieces together. So that's exciting. So who's got another thing that they want to make happen? I think we all need our big idea here. Like we got to have something we're all going for here. So that's what yours is, Jody, for sure. Okay.
Bill, this is Sunil.
Hi, Sunil. How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you for helping us a long time ago, but it's been a little bit of a change in our direction. So I have been doing management consulting forever, and My main customer base has been pharmaceutical companies helping them launch drugs.
Yeah.
So that's been sort of my main focus.
Right.
So with AI, I thought, how could I do my 20 different types of projects in a more cohesive way? So I came up with the idea of something called Launch Copilot, in which I could infuse like my 10 different kinds of projects, and I put them in 4 categories. One is guide, like I can guide the client on how to launch the drugs. One would be builder, so they could build certain deliverables with it.
Yes.
One would be reviewer, which is kind of auditing their deliverables.
Yes.
And fourth one was orchestrator, which is more like communication as well. So this communication and project management and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought if I could put all my thinking and knowledge into this Copilot, that would be a cool way to kind of take so I don't know if that's automate or innovate. I think it's innovate because I've been doing the same consulting, but I thought, okay, if I build a tool, first I could use the tool myself.
Yeah.
So anything I do, I can do the same things much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So my experience has been initially it was more dabbling and stuff and kind of playing with different tools. Then
Yeah.
when I had this one particular goal and I started working with ChatGPT, and it kind of refined a bunch of those pieces. But cool thing happened when I started creating stuff out of it, which was I used Claude.
Yeah.
And interestingly, Claude designed my whole thing within like 2 days.
Wow.
And I mean, anybody can go on launchcopilot.ai. And I did not type a single word. That is all AI generated. I mean, I haven't opened it or anything, but it is, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
internally, if somebody wants to go check it, check it. I did not write a single word. It was all because of my prompts. I need to give it around for 1 week or so to kind of clean it up as soon as I
Yeah.
get time.
Yeah.
But it was amazing experience to see that it can build. Then I saw, I said, I took 1 hour and I did a whole brain dump on ChatGPT. And I said, clean this up. This is my product idea. I took that thing and I gave it to Claude and I said, okay, can you do a critical analysis of it?
Mm-hmm.
And it did a critical analysis. And I said, this is my general idea. Can you make a product out of it? Give me a UI of this. And it was so wow that based on my idea, it gave me the visuals of how my whole my app is supposed to look like that I can use, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if it is automate or innovate. I just dabbled into it and I just kind of, it's kind of.
Well, we don't need to get too caught up in the semantics of it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It sounds like both. So,
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Like what I take from that, also something that I see is that there's the idea of creating your knowledge-based avatar, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just this, somebody's talking to you kind of thing. But there's also this idea, and this is what we've done with every one of our clients, is okay, what's this process that you have, your big idea process, right? And it's a transformational process that you're doing with your clients, like call them members, but clients. And there's a bunch of steps to it. So like in our case, our program, Big Idea Venture Program, it has over 500 steps to it. It's broken down into 6 stages, but 500 steps. So what I'm doing is going through each step and saying, can that be automated or improved? And is there something we could do that we never done before in that process? So as time goes by, our process, AI and our process will just become one, right? And I'll either be working with it as a human or basically it'll just run itself. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it ultimately will. But what I have, my intellectual property, is the process, you say. So that's something that I think is going to be more and more valuable because an AI can help you create that process, but then you own that process, right? And then somebody wants to go through that process, they got to pay you. They can't really get another AI to do it. Like you've got this specially trained AI agent system that will do the whole process. So so that sounds like what you're building there.
That's you caught it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's basically my process, and I'm saying which pieces it can do and which pieces
Right.
I can myself and kind of copy.
Yeah. So that's a very good project for people to work on. Because I say this, we're all working on our project 2030, which means we're almost at 2026. So I'm a year into my project 2030, and saying, okay, I know my business is going to be an AI business by 2030. I know that. So I'm working on it now to figure it all out. When we land there, it's going to be a completely different kind of business, maybe. That's what we all need to be thinking about. Or if you just sit back and say, well, I don't know, I'm just not going to do anything, the world's going to pass you by 2030. Maybe you don't, maybe you're a Blockbuster, Kodak or something. So,
and I have never coded in my whole life. And it was so amazing. I asked the question, I installed bunch. I mean, I can talk like I'm a IT kind of guy. I mean, it's so amazing how nicely it just says step one, step two. I installed the VS Code, and I can speak the language in a way that I can fool myself and few people if I need
no, I
to.
know that's another thing that's so amazing about this is that I've been creating all kinds of apps and things like that, agents and so on. I don't know how to write code. I mean, I know Python up to a point, and that was like a million years ago. But I never wanted to really be a programmer. But you can just write an app. You don't have to know the code. You just say, this is what I want. That's the big idea, right? It's like if you have something that's a big idea, the AI will help you build it. You don't have to know code or anything. You just have to know what you want.
So I'm happy to share this process if anybody is curious about how I did it with Claude and stuff. And it's launchcopilot.ai if anybody wants to check it out. I did not write a single word, no nothing, all generated by just my prompt.
So there's a link that we could get to from.
Launch just if you type on internet launchcopilot.ai.
Okay.
That's my website.
You can put the link in the chat.
I'm doing that right
Make it
now.
easier for everybody. Betty, do you have a point?
Yeah, there's others. I created a meal planning prompt with v0.dev. I thought that was a little bit more intuitive than the Lovable, which is another vibe coding. They're calling them vibe coding.
Yeah.
And there's also Replit, but I found Replit to be a little bit more cumbersome than v0.dev.
Can you put the link for that in the?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. So vibe coding. Do you want to tell them what that means? Because I that's a cool expression, but maybe people.
Yeah. So vibe coding is basically using this prompting to tell the agent or the software, the tool that you're using to actually create different programs or products.
Right.
So in my example, I created a prompt generator to help people with how many people you're feeding, blah, blah, blah. And I basically just treated it like Claude or ChatGPT, and it created a web-based application that generated this prompt customized to whoever is providing the inputs.
And then they take the prompt and put it into ChatGPT or something then you're saying? Or?
Yes, you can then take the prompt and put it into Chat or Claude or Gemini, whoever is your favorite LLM. But I've known somebody else who created a software product on, recruiting. And so there's many different things that you can do it, and it does not 100% replace full-time developers, but it does help you ideate and get to the point where you can actually go to a programmer or a developer and say, this is my vision of what I want. And then they can tie in all of the back-end database and, whatever else that you need to maintain an actual tool.
Right. So when you start to hire, if you do have to go to that level and you have to hire someone that's charging a lot of money, you've already got it 90% there. So they can just take that and expedite it as opposed to them having to figure it all out with you and charging you 10 times more than that. So yeah. Okay. So that's good advice too. Excellent. All right. So let's see. What about Anne Marie Johnson? What would you like to what would you like to do with AI? What's the next thing for you?
So I work at a boutique litigation law firm. And so I've identified about 5 use cases where it could be very beneficial. So labor is about 40% of costs, like outside of things that the clients actually pay for. So we were an MVA firm, like personal injury. And then the province went no fault about 5 years ago. And so we've had to pivot into different sub-practice areas. So one of the things we are doing is class actions. And so I would like a way to be scanning media and then pulling up ideas very quickly all the time, and just automate that whole process. And while we're doing it manually right now. So it's super easy. It should be a super easy use case to actually get that done. And then intake. So we do civil sexual assault, civil litigation, and state litigation. And so we only get about, and because it's civil, we only get about one file that we can actually open for every 20 we have to talk to and spend an hour and a half on. And so I really want to automate that process, both from the website and the interaction with the folks that are taking the calls, et cetera, to get. And then I want real metrics associated with that, which we're not doing at this point in time. We're already using it in LexisNexis. There's lots of products in law. Like I think there's 2,000 products specifically for law that are AI driven. Trying to wade through that's difficult, but those are the major use cases. The other thing too is I am really, like Betty indicated, I have subscription fatigue. And I want to find ways to like build stuff myself and be able to keep it current, but without having to spend, annual subscription fees. So that's kind of where I am right now. And so our data is pretty clean. And now we need to really put the pedal down and get moving. And then there's a couple of business ideas that we have, but I know, Bill, we're speaking to you on Friday, the partners, about that. And one of them is offering mediation services and notary services on top of that, but I want to do it in a very labor and cost-effective way. So I want to explore that.
Well, I really like the notion of the intake, because I know that's a issue for a lot of people. Like my wife's a physician. The intake is involved. It's just psychotherapy, right? So it's an involved thing. It requires 2 different people. It's expensive. She doesn't get compensated by the Ontario government for doing that. So
we don't either.
And you do need sort of the personal touch too, but it already is automated up to some point, right? But to do it more would probably be helpful for her. But sounds like you might need it even more given what you're facing there. 1 out of 20 ends up being a client, right?
Anne-Marie,
and it's unpaid.
Anne-Marie, can I ask what the process you went through to actually identify those use cases? I mean, did you document all your processes or get people together and say, here's where you can do it? What was the actual process that you followed to identify those use cases? Because it doesn't matter what your business is, your company is, it's there's a process we have to follow. And Bill, I know you just say, hey, just think about where those processes can operate, but I have a feeling that Anne-Marie had taken a more, I don't know, strategic approach or more specific. How did you do it?
A little more analytical than
analytical. Yeah.
We did it in a couple different ways. I got a new managed service provider who was very lean and more AI focused than our previous behemoth. And actually more cost effective. And they have a very keen interest in that. And so initial discussions coming out of what they could do for us and where I was seeing the pain point. So I am really focused on bottom line, always have been. And we are in a chain, like we're in a, not, I wouldn't say crisis. We know this is happening. We've known it's been happening for a while, but we're going to have a revenue dip and we need to get it back up fast. And so I've only been here 2 years, but then I took the people actually doing the jobs and said to them, hey, look, let's drop our bags. Your job's not going away. We always need the human touch here. Where are your pain points? And so we spent a day just went offsite and just hammered out all of the potential, like everything that was causing them pain. And then just narrowed it down from there in terms of what was easy, bite size, good testing type things. I don't want to start oh my gosh, whole hard before we figure some of these things out in terms of our data cleanliness, the legal environment in BC. It's also a concern here. So that's how I did it. Just brought the people who are actually doing the work into the room and had everybody in there at the same time to talk about it.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And then this is something that we all have to be thinking about too, is probably spend a bit of time thinking about how could my business and industry be disrupted by this, right? Like the way we make money, how could that be disrupted? And it's I was watching this show called The Pit. I don't know if you've seen it. It takes place in the hospital. It's an unbelievable show. I guess it's like devastating, actually. But one patient comes in and he's kind of like knows everything because he's looked up everything on Google. They call him Dr. Google. You know, he's talked to Dr. Google, and oh boy, here we go. He knows everything. And that sort of disrupted. I mean, obviously, you still need a doctor, but they don't think so. So what happens is that certain new things come out, and it disrupts things like Weight Watchers, for example. Weight Watchers hugely successful for decades and decades as far as helping people manage their weight. And then the Fitbit came out. So Weight Watchers cost like $5,000 or something to do, right? And Fitbits cost $50. So they say you don't need Weight Watchers anymore. Just use a Fitbit. It's fine. You'll lose weight because you have a Fitbit now. So a lot of people said, "Oh, okay, they don't need that anymore." So they used the Fitbit. And then they found out over time that it didn't work. But in the meantime, Weight Watchers took a real hit because everybody had this delusion that this tool would do it, right? So there's going to be a lot of that happen where people say, "I don't need that anymore, all that expensive human thing. I can just use this tool," right? And the person selling the tool is going to say, "Yeah, you don't need that," right? And chances are it's not going to actually deliver anywhere near the results that the human version did, but initially it'll be disruptive. So it's just something that you need to have as far as your risk management thinking, I believe. But also, be out there thinking of what you could create, right? That would be disruptive, but also truly good. Like that's maybe what we need to be thinking about.
Bill, you had always told me, and I love the idea behind this. Ask AI.
Yeah.
I just asked AI what products could we, I kind of ChatGPT. I just basically asked, you've got my background in this in the packaging space. What products can we create? AI products can we create to revolutionize the industry? And it's been rattling off a whole bunch of stuff. So for what that's worth.
Something interesting there.
Very.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it may give you the idea, but it might give you the idea of the idea as well, right? So one or the other. I think it's still the human and the AI together will come up with a better idea than the AI by itself, because the AI is still a little derivative. I think humans are definitely better at original ideas, something that's completely an aha, eureka kind of thing. An AI is kind of just churning out what has already happened in a mashup, but so humans we got a lot of potential here for sure. That's why the humanate, right? Let me ask someone to tell me how they would like to use this to make their life better. How would you want to use it to make your life better?
Oh, if I could just like book all my appointments and restaurant bookings and just be my secretary, that would be perfect.
And then how would that make your life better, really?
Just free up time so I could use my mental energy in more effective places.
Okay, that's good. So you want to keep your eye on the prize and say, because that's actually good business strategic planning, okay, for you, career planning, life planning, is to say, I want to work less. I want to be more relaxed. I want to be healthier. Now get the AI to help you with that. Right? Because that's what I say, it could literally drive people crazy because they'll start using this tool and they'll get all caught up in the power that they think they're getting from it, which will make them want to work more and make more money and go crazy. And it could actually literally drive you crazy. And so that's what I hope really doesn't happen. It's like you're putting on this power suit and you go out and you wreck your life and you go, wait a minute, what I do? How can it make your life better? Right. So for me, it's like I'm working 3 days a week. That's it. Because I don't have to work 5 days a week anymore because I'm using AI. That's the goal. Not to work 5 days and do even more. Like, I don't want to do that. Some people would say, fine, that's what I want to do, but maybe you could have less time. So one of the things, all my clients that we work with, I tell them this is the meta goal that you could all go for. And this is what the promise of AI can do. You'd say, I want to make 10 times more money work half as much, and enjoy my work and my life 100 times more. So you say, what's my project 30? Is to accomplish that. Right? So then you go, okay, well, how could AI help me do that? Ask it to help you do that. And then, and that will be the goal, right? So it'll be much more aligned with what you're actually trying to do, which is well-being. So in my book, Dancing with Robots, I talk about, in the old factory world, I call it, the goal was consumption and production. We're all going to get happier if we produce and consume more, right? We're kind of peaking out on that. So then in the new factory world, it's about getting a better result, which I think ultimate is well-being, using less resources. So less time, money, effort, energy, stuff. Like, how can I get 100 times more well-being or 10 times more well-being, whatever you want, using less stuff, less time, so on. Right? Because what happened in the old factory world, we were trying to get well-being, but we just got working more. And then we didn't get the well-being we wanted, mostly. A lot of downsides to that. But this can give us that. I looked at that robot. Have you seen the robot Neo 2 or whatever it is? There's a video on YouTube. Just type in new robot, I guess probably you'll find it. It's actually can't do what it's showing, but it will eventually. And it's going around doing all your housework for you. But I go, I think I like that. I'm going to buy version 3, I think, but it's $20,000. I go, if we did all the housework, that might be good, right? And I said, take the dog for a walk. And then I thought, yeah, well, then you get a robot dog, and your robot's taking your robot dog for a walk. And then I'm going, okay, why am I doing that? But so I think there's a really good opportunity for this to happen. Everybody's using it and still in an industrial mindset. It'll help me produce more, help us consume more, And I go, maybe we've reached the peak of that already. See, well-being is a whole different goal.
Yeah, Bill, I agree. I'm also president-elect of the American Marketing Association for our Cincinnati chapter, and we bring in a lot of speakers, and we've been talking a lot about AI. And one of the things that is shifting is using AI not just for automation, but for improving quality, right? And getting ideas. And that's kind of, this is not a sales pitch, but that's what I focus on, right? With the meal planning, right? People would get bored of the same thing. So how do you ideate that? How do you use AI for creating ideas? And outside of meal planning, with anything that you're doing, whether it's improving your data, it's really improving the quality and giving you some really new, fresh ideas that you may not have thought of. And then when you pull in your human creativity, then you get some, I get some really great ideas where, like, I'm thinking of something, but I can't flush it out. And I just kind of put it all in there. And sometimes Claude is better. Sometimes ChatGPT is better. I pay for both. So anyway, my whole point is that it's not just about automation, it's about improving quality.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, your peak value, what we call, is well-being. Okay. Yeah. Because meal planning can be very stressful. It's like, I find it stressful. I'm the chef in the house. And what are we going to have to dinner tonight? Kind of thing. But if you had a way to automate that, that makes it less stressful and more enjoyable, and probably better, more nutritious, maybe. And that's all well-being, right?
Right.
So, I don't know if you sell it in that way, but that's actually what you're providing.
I do. My first audience is the busy parent. I'm going after different audiences in different stages.
Busy parent's the one for sure.
Exactly. And it's all about reducing your reliance on ultra-processed foods and fast foods by making simple dishes yourself.
Now, have you given us a link to your website about the...
I did a couple things. I gave you the VO, Deb. Okay. I also showed you the meal prompt generator that I use in part of my workshop.
Yeah.
I usually don't I'm not giving it out for free, but this seems like the circle of trust and AI experts in here. So I gave you that. And then I sent you the link to my website too.
Yeah. Excellent. So John Stroud, I'd like you to come in and you've been doing quite a bit of interesting work with AI. We're collaborating. So what's the latest on the AI front for you?
So the one tool that I've been looking at is 11 Labs. Yes. And so 11 Labs is about voice. And so like one of the things that it looks like you should be able to do is creating a virtual version of yourself. Yeah. But building up to like something you could use as a marketing material. So it's like for people who are talking about like trying to filter through to see if someone's a good fit for your business, and you have to do the intake. Yeah. Is that they can have an interactive process to talk with virtual you, so they can ask questions and answer questions. So if they're not a good fit for you, then it's virtual you has like sent them away, and you didn't have to waste time. So Marie, I'm not sure it's a good fit for you right now, but if you're at 20. Like, what if this is a way for some of them that you thought maybe were lower risk, that maybe you take that down to 15 or something like that? If they understand it, maybe they have questions. They just want to know, like, how much does this cost? And when they learn what the fees are, they go, oh, that's not a good fit, or I can't afford it, or not the timing. And you can get people to know more quickly. And then the other side is just in terms of your positioning of, we are like a forward-looking company, and look at the way that we work, and we've adopted AI in our business. This is just one step, and we're looking at all our workflows because, you're going to expect that if there's ways that we can reduce our costs or provide greater value to you, that we're thinking about it. So it's just part of your brand of a forward-looking organization, and 11 Labs is a really solid company.
So 11 Labs enables you to do that now? Like you can create something that people could call into or use on your website?
Yeah, like you could even send it out in your put it on your website or in like emails that you send out to people, and and play around with that. So
you can put your knowledge base into it.
Exactly. So I haven't done it yet. I'm just still playing with it, but that seems to be the potential.
Yeah, that's good. So I just want to share a couple of things that I've been doing, because I've got my screen here. Let me just show you.
And Anne-Marie, just like one of the things that you talked about was, do you want to do competitive intelligence, like what's happening in the marketplace? Did you say you wanted an update every day on that?
Yeah, mostly class action ideas. So where there are news articles or where there have been I'm not that we're ambulance chasers, because we're not, but if there's been, we do a lot of airline work, just to be first. It's really a question of getting there first, because someone's going to open the class action file if there's been like misuse on the corporate level. So we want it to be us.
Yeah, then if you have ChatGPT, that's something you can even ask an agent to do now, and it's just describe
every day.
And it'll give you an update like every day at 7 a.m. or whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. So carry on that conversation between the two of you, maybe offline or something. Maybe you can meet up. Now, the one thing I just wanted, a little housekeeping thing. We're recording this. So if people want to watch it again or give it to other people to watch, I'm putting it on here. This is like our little school. I call it School. The platform's called School, SKOOL, I think. And I just put the link there. So if you want to get the recording of it or get access to other things that are on there, then you just register with that. It's free. There's no cost for it. So I've created this classroom. And so let me see what we've got here. There's a bunch of videos on here. I'll go back again. The meetings are here. So like the last meeting, if you wanted to watch that, you could watch it on there. So just take that link and just fill out the little form, and then you'll be able to get access to the videos there. Okay. So just a little housekeeping thing. Now, one of the things that I found really cool lately is I've been creating these like explainer videos. And the way I do it on my YouTube channel, actually, I should bring up the YouTube channel. Let's see, hang on a second. Yeah, explainer video. So, okay. So what I've been doing is using ChatGPT. They have something called deep research. I don't know if you all know about that one. But if you want to do deep research, you click here and you click on deep research. And what I wanted was a deep research project on futurism, because I tout myself as a bit of a futurist. But I thought, well, I'm not really trained as a futurist. So what does that field all look like? So I said, conduct a study on that. Asked me a bunch of questions, and then it wrote this document called Futurism: Methods, Pitfalls, and How to Think Like a Futurist. Right. So it really interesting document. And then what I did was I put it in Notebook LM, and this is a Google thing. This is definitely a recommended because it's free. Okay, that's the key thing. And I had it. I put that document in there. This is the only one so far. And then I had it do a little podcast for me. So if you can maybe hear it, it's going to come on in a second. Maybe. No, it's not working. Don't worry about it. Okay, but anyway, so it went through and it explains what's in that document. So I don't have to read the whole document; it just explains it. But one of the things that, see if I can show it here. Yeah, I don't want to show anybody's personal thing. But one of the things they have, which is really cool, is something called video overview. Okay, so now it's going to generate a video overview of that. It's like a video, and it's amazing. So I'll go here, and let me just show you. Like here's one called the AI wake up call. Let me just see if
All right, let's talk about AI and your business, because this isn't just about some.
So just bear in mind that this was created with no work on my part at all. I just created that. It took my video that I did on another video, and then it took that part of it and said, okay, I'm going to do this like a slideshow about it. So
heck, it's a massive shift, and it really makes you ask a super important question. Are you using AI just to make tiny improvements, like building a better candle? Or are you using it to do something truly disruptive, to invent the very first light bulb? So let's start with a really quick, honest check-in. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, what's AI? And 10 being, I'm basically a world-class expert, where do you land? Just think of a number for yourself right now. Okay, you got your number? If you scored yourself anywhere from a 1 to a 4, well, you're in good company. Honestly, that's where most people are. But here's the thing, and this is kind of scary. While being in the majority usually feels safe, with this, it's actually the most dangerous place you can be. See, the real problem isn't your score today. It's how fast the gap is growing between the people who get it and the people who don't. The folks who are mastering AI aren't just getting a little bit ahead. They're launching into another orbit. So if you're standing still, you're actually falling behind at an incredible speed. And there's a specific reason for that. It all boils down to this: 10x. This is what we call the 10x multiplier effect. The whole idea is that AI doesn't just make you, 10% better. No way. It makes people and teams 10 times more productive, which completely rewrites the rules of the game. Let me show you what I mean.
Yeah, there you go. So it took that information, some of those things I've already said today, and just goes ahead and makes a video. And I did about 6 of these, and some of them were going back a ways, like some of my older books and stuff. But there's, I think, still good content there. And it made the video, and then I showed it to my wife, who's suffered through listening to all this for 40 years, and goes, okay. She said, not only did it understand you better than you do, it gave a better presentation than you could. And they're going, okay, I guess that's a form of flattery or something. But it was like she was so completely blown away, and it was so this idea that if you have these concepts, you can have this creative video and like this, and literally I had to do nothing. It just made it, right? And you can direct it too if you wanted to talk about a certain thing or whatever. But that is really kind of blowing my mind. So on my website, here's my website. I was able to put, here we go. I put that content here. because it talks about my program, and then I put these videos here. So these are videos from that. So it's those explainers.
Today we're going to talk about it.
So if you have different concepts that you want to teach people about your business,
the software running in your head.
That one blew my mind, that new factory one. So if you want to check those out, actually, I'll just give you a link there. You want to just watch those a little bit just to see what you might do for yourself. That's been really good. So I'm assuming some of you using Notebook LM, or has any of you never heard of it before? Or?
Yeah, I've used it, Bill, and one thing I've encouraged other people to do is put their website URL in, and then what it does is it'll give you a summary.
Yeah.
And what people have said, like you, is like, oh, that's what I'm trying to say. Just it's really simplifying what we do. So it was somebody who made like boilers for like industrial clients, and it's a very technical, dry business, and it just took their material and made it much more accessible. Or you can also see like how are other people reading your material, like what do they get out of it, and if it's wrong, then you can change it.
Yeah, so it's like I'm doing that right now. I was going to put that in there, and then what I could do is get it to, I'm going to get it to do a video overview. Why not? I'm going to get it to do a bunch of things. So I'll just click on it. So, so you start playing around with that. You're going to get all kinds of ideas and a lot of things you can do with that. And it's all free. Like, this is mind blowing. I'm assuming somewhere, though, I don't know what their policies are, but they're obviously getting a lot of data from this. So I'm not sure if it's completely free in that sense, but I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe they're not harvesting this too much, because otherwise it's pretty private. The other thing I just want to remind everybody about is Lindy. Lindy, for me, still is the most accessible tool for making agents for your business. Okay, and the reason is because you can talk to it. Just as we were saying, the vibe coding. You can just go in and say, I want you to build me an agent. You just start typing in, I would like an agent to do sorry, help me type, maybe, to do this, whatever, right? And it'll start building that, right? So I've got a number of different agents here that I've created. The one that I still think is the most impressive one, it'll do lead generating. Lead generating is amazing. So you can just ask it to find people. So business coaches I'm looking for right now. So it'll just go out. I get to say, okay, here we go. Let me just do it right now. Find me 10 business coaches with emails in North America. Because I think business coaches are a great audience for learning about AI and stuff. So I've set this agent up already, right? So it goes out and it just starts looking for them. And I could come back to that. I don't need to sit here. But what it does then, it also puts it into a spreadsheet for me. And then another agent will go in and send an email to that person, inviting them into this network, right? So what's this one? Yeah, so it's I did have to, let's see that. Okay, let's go with this one then. Anyway, I'm running a little snag, but I can fix it. I don't want to bother you with it now. But basically it runs automated. I mean, I could just, every Monday I just do it. So you can just start creating agents here. Another one that's really interesting for us is, where's the connector one? Here it is right here. So we have another network. It's for keynote speakers that do speaking. We've got about 700 members so far. And what this does is it connects the members together by going into the database of members and saying, you two should meet. Then it sends out an email. It's like, I think you two should meet. So I'm going to say 10, make 10 connections. Let's see if this one works. So what it's doing is it's looking in the database right now. and it's saying, okay, I think that these people should meet, and then it's going to write an email to those two people, and it's going to connect them together. So we'll come back to that one in a minute. The other thing, and I haven't done much with this yet, but this is ChatGPT's agent builder. Okay, so Lindy has a now major competitor, ChatGPT. So you can actually create agents right inside ChatGPT. Okay, and I can't give you a whole course on it or anything because I haven't actually used it that much, except to find that it can't quite do what Lindy can do because it's not intuitive. You still have to know how to make agents, more or less. You have to be somebody that's in that kind of business, really, I think, right now. But I believe that sooner or later, it'll be like Lindy, where you can just ask it to do that. Okay. So what's happened here is that it's identified, go back to the agent, it's identified the people to connect, and then it's sending the emails to them. And this is an automation, but it's also an innovation because it wasn't something I was doing before. It would have been too hard. I mean, a lot of time I would say, oh, you two should meet. I'd send one email a year or something, but now it's sending out, 10 or 20 a week. And it's increasing the engagement of the people in the network because I want them all to meet each other. That's the point. So this is a huge innovation for us. And then what it does is it tracks the people, whether they actually do connect. And whenever they do connect and they send each other emails, it sends me back a message saying, I get an email that comes to me. It says, these people just connected. Amazing. They're going to meet up on Thursday or whatever. So it's a really, really cool. So there's so many things that I could use this for that I haven't even begun. And at this point now I've got 20,000 tokens. If you see down there in the bottom left, you buy tokens. So those tokens cost me $200 US a month. And so far I haven't really used up that many. I've still got 18,000 left. So it's getting more efficient too. It's using up less tokens. So you're going to hear that term a lot. There's two reasons you can hear about tokens with AI, but one of them is a lot of these platforms, you pay a fee and you get a certain number of tokens, which means there's a certain amount of AI stuff you can do with them every month, right? So anyway, so ChatGPT came out with an agent builder. It's still relatively limited. It can't connect to as many things as Lindy can actually. But we'll see. And also now, and I don't know enough about it to tell you too much, but I know that Google AI Studio now has an agent builder in it as well. So, which may be more useful for me anyway, because most of the data I have is in Google Docs and Google Drives. The other one that I could make you aware of is actually, let me just do this one. At least back in it's the robot. You can turn off the robot. In case you want to look at some of these, I'll just give you the links. But this one is called Lovable, which I think is a cute name. And what you can do is this is where you can create the apps if you want to create some apps. So what I did was I created an app for onboarding, because we were talking about onboarding people into this other network we have for financial advisors called the Big Idea Advisor Network. And it essentially built the whole thing. So it created the landing page. I made the video, obviously, but then I asked it to put the video on there. And then it's created the sheet to fill it out. But one of the coolest things about this, I'll just fill this out quickly if I can, is that there's an AI onboarding agent. So I think I want to show you that. So let me just do this quickly here. I just have to bear with me here because I think you're going to find this interesting. Canada, 40 years, $1 billion. I'm making $1 billion a year now with my AI. And I'll just say hello. You'd want them to say more than that. But then what happens then is, now just bear in mind that this got all created by an AI. Let's hope it works. There we go. Okay, so that was pretty standard, but now the onboarding conversation. Okay, so welcome to Big Idea Advisor Network. I'm here to learn about your advisory business. So this would be for financial advisors, right? So tell me about your practice. I'll just say we are a family business. Actually, I have a whole other thing here I could use to family business located in Ohio. And now I don't even have to type because I'm using something else called Whisper Flow. It's just like, I'm going to get to that in a second, but it's changed my life. You don't have to type anymore. We have been in business for 40 years and generate over $2 million in revenue per annum. Okay. And then it says that, and it says sharing your thoughts. Look, that's fantastic. 40-year legacy and over 2 million in revenue is truly impressive. So it starts talking to you and says, to help us understand your journey better, let's dive into your current relationship with AI, joining an AI focused group. So we don't have a lot of experience with AI, but we'd like to learn more. So anyway, so this is cool. But what happens is it's even better is then it takes that information and sticks it in a database. So I have this database that it's all going into. And when people sign up for this, they're telling me all this stuff. And I'm going, that's gold, right? Because now I'm learning all about like, what are your biggest challenges in your business? What are the things that you're wanting to learn about AI and so on? And it's putting into this database. And the next step, once I have enough people signed on, then I will go in and have the AI analyze that data. So what are the three things that everybody's worried about most? Like, what do they want to learn most? And it will be able to analyze all that data, right? So that's why I'm having this AI there. And you can imagine soon, I'll just be able to have an avatar there talking to you, and you'll just be having this conversation, but all the words that the person says will be captured and put into a database. So any questions about that? Because that's actually a bigger thing than I was really making it out to be. But David, we talked about that, right? About what this is about, the onboarding and getting the data.
Yep.
And then you could even have a business that just says, I'm going to give you this free stuff, but I just want to have a conversation with you first. And the point of it isn't the free stuff is just the thing that they come to get, right? But what you're really getting is the conversation, because then you get all this information about them. But it isn't a form to fill out, which is boring and so on. It's actually a conversation that's generating all this data that then could be turned around and turned into reports. Like I could create a report for the financial service industry, or for even for like somebody like Mass Mutual, for example, that wants to bring in advisors and says, okay, these are the challenges the advisors are facing. Here's my report. It costs $2,000 to read because I did all this. And they'd say, sure, we'll pay for that. We need that insight. So we could be in a business that just is about creating data. Another one that I found really useful is something called Love Art. So Love Art, it's all this lovable and Love Art, not related, different companies. And what I wanted to do was do a whole rebranding of my graphics of my business, because I've been looking at it for so long, I didn't want to look at it anymore. So I started with the logo, and it created that logo. And then I said, I want you to create a whole brand kit around that. So basically it went through and it just built all the different elements of my brand kit, which in like a book cover, TrueMark, which is our personality test, all the way down here to what I showed you today, which is this graphic here. So anything I need to create new, and that's pretty straightforward. It's nothing exciting about that one, but I could ask for it to be more interesting. But it's all the colors and everything is consistent, right? It's building the, that was like something for video I did. That was just a rough draft at that point. So this is something, and then I was able to go in and just redo my whole website and everything. So the whole website now is all redone under all the different looks there. Oh, there's my little avatar there, reading the people. It's a little static. I'm going to do one that has my arms moving in a minute, but I was able to take it and redo all the graphics and the colors and everything else. So it's all matching up now. It's all an updated thing. And that took like 1/10 of the time that it would have taken before. So that's another one that you might look at. And the last one I'll just show you. Because this is the simplest one, but actually is the most amazing one. That's like changing my life. Like I've never been a good typer. I think as I'm getting older, I'm getting to be a worse typer. I can't stand typing. So now I don't need to type. Okay. Because all I need to do is when I'm typing is just hold down the option key on my keyboard and just speak into the microphone and it'll record it. Now that sounds like, oh, you can do that already. But this is an AI thing. So you're going along and you go say, and then you say, no, don't say that. And you can just, and then it will produce the clean text for you. And it will put in bullet forms. It will do all this. It's amazing. Like it's talk about well-being for me. It's like, oh, I don't mind sitting down writing an email because I don't have to type it. I could just talk and it will edit it for me and just present that. And I go, okay, good. We're done. I'm going to write my next book that way. I'm going to speak it right in. I'm going to speak my book. I'm not going to write it. That's called Whisper Flow. And I'm sure there are other ones like it, but that's the one I've landed on. So you can try that one. So there you go. There's just a few shiny objects for you, maybe. But kind of cool. Anyone have one though? Anything that I have not shown that you just go, this is an amazing tool. I've never seen it before. Maybe we none of us have seen it before, and you're using it and say, this is it. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Anybody got anything? Not yet. Maybe next time.
I think Hey Gen is pretty cool, and my team put together a little Hey Gen video with an avatar talking, and it's cool. Hot off the press, so I haven't had a chance to look at it properly myself.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, how fast is that? I said, we need a little video for our sales conference that's coming up.
Right.
And boom, they did this this thing with this thing, and it's an avatar talking and saying, oh, how great did you notice this? I'm like, that's so cool and was so fast. So I'll find out more. But it was Hey Gen.
Hey
and
Gen.
I remember trying Hey Gen. I think I found out about Hey Gen here ages ago.
Yeah.
And had done my own face as an avatar, but it's come a long way anyway. It's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think it was Betty maybe talking about the subscription creep and getting all these subscriptions. I definitely have that problem. I've gone through a few times that, okay, I've just, got all excited. I subscribed and then I forgot I'd even subscribed and I get the bill and I went, and so I've unsubscribed for a few things, just gotten a little better at that. But I also look at my total amount I'm spending and I go, you know what I'm spending on AI is less than I spent on leasing a photocopier back in the day. I had a photocopier, this high-end photocopier was like $900 a month to lease for 5 years, right? Now I'm spending about $400 a month and it way more than I could ever got out of that photocopier. So I kind of keep it in perspective that if it's a tool that's really going to help you, I don't know if is it an expense or is it an investment?
Yeah, Bill, I just posted in Napkin AI. I've never paid for it, and I haven't created a ton of things on it, but it's been cool. You can write text, and it creates like flow charts and different diagrams.
Oh, I like that one. Okay, yeah, gonna grab.
Yeah,
I'm creating this database of all these things, so I'll put that one in there.
Yeah, I tried that too, and then I was just like, "There's just too many."
We need an AI to create the database of the tools.
Yeah. So is anyone else here in Cincinnati? Because, we have a big AI network here. Tomorrow there's a big Cincy AI monthly meetup, and we all share this information.
Cool.
Cincinnati is actually pretty hot when it comes to the AI knowledge.
Nice.
But yeah, that Napkin AI is cool to create little diagrams. But thank you for the I hadn't heard of Love Art, so I'm going to definitely check that one out.
Right, that one. Yeah, well, that's what I mean about this group, probably like your group as well. Is that you never know you don't know what you don't know, and then somebody just says something, and that could be like the greatest thing you ever had, and it changed your life, right? So you just never know. The next meeting is in 3 weeks. What will that be? It's the 3rd today. So that's 24th, right? So 20, if you want to put in your calendar, same time, November 24th at 11 Eastern. You want to come to that. If you know anybody that you think should be part of this, that would be fantastic. The more people we have involved, the better. So there's the form. You click on that, bookmark it if you want to give it to someone else to use to register for this so they get on the list to be invited. That would be more than appreciated.
Bill, could I ask one tiny question before we jump?
Yeah.
So so in terms of, hi, thanks everybody so much, and I'm so glad to be here. But really quick, like just teeny tiny poll survey question. I'm looking at generating a lot of videos or using former videos to freshen things up. Do you guys right now in this moment prefer a sort of imperfect kind of like you have on your site, kind of Bill avatar type video, or do you prefer something that's clearly AI generated, more of like a caricature or like, obviously like an animated type person, or neither? You'd rather watch videos that don't have a person at all and it's just imagery?
Okay, well, I'm going to give my vote. I would say still human being making a video would probably be the best thing, right? For sure. If I do an avatar video, it's either going to be like those explainers where there's just, it's like what do they call it? Faceless video. That, it's just a slideshow with voice, because that way, and then my third choice is to have some kind of character as opposed to mimicking me. Because then it's so obviously not trying to fool you that it's an avatar. So like on my waiting room here, I have Billy AI. It's like this cartoon character that I made. And then the fourth choice would be an avatar of myself, I think. But because there's probably a bit of a backlash, right? People say, "Oh, that's an AI thing. I don't want to watch it because I don't need another AI thing." I don't know. That's why the Humanate thing is going to come back. It's like, oh, it's an actual real person. Amazing. They went to the trouble. Incredible. That's my vote. Diane? Yeah. You agree? Or are we all concurring on that scale? Wasn't trying to put my finger on the scale there, but
I agree.
Michelle,
I don't like the AI slop.
That's what they call it. The AI slop. Yeah. Got to watch out for that. It's kind of fun to play around with a bit, but when you're putting it out for your business, you got to be careful.
When you guys say AI slop, do you mean like, a caricature that's, like an animated, or do you mean like it tries to take my head and some sample speaking and video and recreate me?
A little bit of that, and a little bit of just slideshows with what is clearly an AI generated voice trying to give facts and information. It's, for me personally, it's a total turnoff. And that's what I'm calling AI slop. Just anything that is automatically generated that is clearly, and I've had debates with this locally, whether like sometimes I have to create AI generated images, and I will say AI created with AI. And, some people say you shouldn't do that. And, we're still navigating our way through a lot of the trust and transparency portion of that. But that's just my point of view.
Like, what about Sora? Sora, you're asked to put in a digital presence in Sora. So that's kind of normal, but I can't tell what's fake. I saw somebody sitting in a tub of hot peppers. I know it was fake, but it looked so real. But I guess it's supposed to be the digital presence.
Yeah, Sora drives me crazy. And the nice thing about it is that it is putting, like, if they're going on TikTok, you'll usually see that logo on there.
Yeah. Okay. They're watermarking it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that they're watermarking it. Personally, I've got many other important real things to worry about. But yeah,
That's why I go back to the Humanate thing.
What?
Automate the things that make sense, right? Innovate new things. But when it comes down to, maybe that's freeing you up to make a real live video of you that's real. and meeting with people in person and all that, maybe that's, I think that's actually the best strategy. I remember when ChatGPT, no, sorry, Constant Contact and MailChimp and things like that came out, and everybody wanted to do, email marketing. I go, great. And then he wanted to send out 5 a day. I can send out 5 a day. I go, no, bad idea. Everybody's going to unsubscribe. They're going to hate you, right? So maybe every week or every 2 weeks, really make it a good email. Don't just throw it together. Don't bug everybody constantly, because that's not a good business decision. Even though you think, oh, I could do that. I go, yeah, I know, but is it a good idea? Like, is it going to turn people off? So you have to find that fine balance, and it depends on your market. It depends on what you do. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But, and we're still early days. Like back in like I say, when Constant Contact came out, people were just sending out emails like crazy, and then they were getting such bad feedback that they stopped doing that. So
yeah, Bill, thank you for the invitation. I'll have to thank your AI for finding me.
Yeah, maybe it was. See, that's okay. I mean, that's a good thing.
And right? Have a wonderful week.
Yeah, same to everybody. Enjoy, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks, if not sooner. Okay, bye.